drones should be banned. The potential for abuse, as we're seeing right now, with a secret hit list that our president maintains and that any president can maintain, and using drone strikes, it's just something that we must end. We must end. So I don't agree with that. And there's many other things that the president has taken on that are against our democracy and against our Constitution. The president being able to unilaterally declare war, that is not the way things are supposed to work, according to our Constitution. Congress are the people, our elected representatives collectively, who must take back the power to Congress to declare war, not the presidency alone.
I do not like drone attacks, but we are in World War IV. World War III ended when the Soviet Union fell apart because of Ronald Reagan. It was Ronald Reagan, the Pope, and Margaret Thatcher that ended World War III, which was called the Cold War. We spent millions of dollars on that war. It was fought in Vietnam, it was fought in Korea. So we are now in World War IV, as far as I'm concerned. The Muslim world has declared war against Western civilization. Al-Qaeda is their front runners. If we got to wipe out Al-Qaeda, we can take troops and go wipe them out, because we are in an active war at the moment. I don't accept drone attacks. I think we should use troops on the ground, but no more politically correct wars. If we don't go into a country and change the people, improve their lives, free their women, we have no reason to be in any country.
Thank you. We have a couple of questions about climate change, and I'll read the first one. How do, and this goes for Mr. Wade, Mr. Schmidt, you have the first response. How would you address the conflict between increased drilling for oil and gas and the need to cut CO2 in the atmosphere?
Again, this whole global warming thing is people that are historically challenged. People that don't quite understand history at all. And if you go back to the 9th century, the world was much warmer then than it is now. Eric the Red was farming in Greenland in the 9th century. Eric the Red was Leif Erikson's father. So the idea that humankind is going to change the weather is comical. CO2, I think every plant needs CO2. I think America grows more corn than any country in the world, and it needs all the CO2 it can get, because what the plants survive on is CO2. This old global warming idea is a way to wipe out the middle class, to tax the middle class, and it's not based on any historical fact. I mean, when they talk about the hurricane in New York, what about the hurricane that saved the nation in 1814, put out the fire in the White House, and drove the British from Washington, D.C.?
Thank you. I'd like to ask you to hold up the zero sign longer, please, so that we're sure that the candidates see them in this way.
I call for creating a national environmental defense plan. Our planet is under siege. It is from global warming, and it is unquestioned scientific consensus that human activity, specifically fossil fuel use, is what is fueling global warming. The U.S. is a world leader in the consumption of fossil fuels. We should be the world leader in going towards alternative fuels and in conservation. Every decision we make must take into account the effect that human activities have on the planet on which we all depend. We need to stop subsidizing the fossil fuel interests. We need to stop fighting wars that also defend the fossil fuel interests. We must immediately turn our full attention and political will to adopting alternative fuels such as solar and wind and geothermal, and to conserve energy and at the same time revitalize our economy through doing so and creating clean, green, sustainable jobs.
Thank you. We'll continue with the environmental issues. And Ms. Wade, the first response, do you support drilling in the Alaskan wilderness region?
Absolutely not. I could go on, but I think that answer is pretty clear.
Okay.
We must preserve the pristine lands that we have left. We cannot be despoiling every square inch of this planet. We don't need those fossil fuels, and the only thing that they would do in despoiling the Alaskan wilderness is to enrich a few at the expense, the environmental expense, of the rest of us.
Well, let's ask the people in New York about fossil fuels and what's it like to be without electricity for a week or two. The plan that Nancy Wade lays out will assure everybody in America that you will be ground out from time to time, that you will have no electricity. When you want to turn on your computer, you'll have no electricity. Your cell phones won't work. There is no way that you can make enough electricity for the population with fans. I mean, I go along with using any source of electricity, any source of energy, but just in Illinois alone, we have enough coal to energize the entire United States for the next 300 years, and yet we have not developed clean coal. I could take the classroom we talked in front of last week, I could take 10 students out of that class. With about $100,000, we could come up with a way to burn coal much cleaner. There's no will to burn clean coal, and it could be done right here in the USA.
We'll continue with the environmental issues. Mr. Schmidt, do you support fuel efficiency standards for vehicles, and should they be changed?
I don't really support any federal cap standards. I know our ignorant president has made a statement that if all cars are made and they all will make 50 miles to the gallon, that everybody's going to save money on gas. No, we are victimized in this country by, like you mentioned, then just Wall Street. We got connivers and schemers and crooked con men, and there are people on the internet that have driven up the price of oil. Oil should not be $90 a barrel. Oil should be about $30 a barrel. So I believe in some standards for automobiles, but this idea that you're going to force 50 miles to the gallon, it's mechanically almost impossible unless everybody's driving around in a little go-kart, a little smart car. But if you got a family, which America's part always had families, you need real automobiles and real trucks.
We definitely need to have conservation standards, fuel efficiency standards. We need to be investing in conservation and in fuel efficiency. And we also need to be investing in things like high-speed rail. And Illinois is a perfect place to be investing in high-speed rail. We need to be able to have transportation, but we don't need to have every single individual person on the roads at all times. And most importantly, we need to reduce our fossil fuel consumption, because if we don't, we simply will not have a livable planet. So we need to be making those hard choices. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to do without, that we have to have brownouts. We can't, the technology currently exists for conservation and for fuel efficiency. And we definitely have to begin to have the political will, political fortitude in order to enforce those and begin to turn in that direction.
Okay, thank you. You have the first